What's up, everybody? We're back. So I made a post a couple days ago. There's my beautiful wife. But made a post a couple days ago about weight cutting. And I got a ton of questions. What's the appropriate amount somebody should lose? If you're not cutting weight, I had people saying that you're not going to be competitive. Not true at all. You can be very, very competitive with cutting little to no weight. It's all about lifestyle. And I'm going to talk about that, right? And first off, youth wrestling. You don't need to cut much weight. You don't need to cut weight. Period. You really don't. If you're missing more than maybe a meal, maybe breakfast the day of, or if weigh-ins are early in the morning, missing dinner the night before. If it's any more than that, you're doing way too much as a youth wrestler. I get it. Your wrestler weighs 52.3, the weight's 52. Yeah, okay, let's skip breakfast this morning so they can make 52, or maybe weigh-ins are after practice one day and they're half a pound over. It's like, all right, get them to lose that weight at practice and get the weigh-ins done. But anything more, if your kid is a youth wrestler and they're starving themselves for multiple days and dehydrated, that's unnecessary, unhelpful. Gonna push them out of the sport of wrestling. Okay, so just don't do that. It's not worth it. Especially those young years. That's why competition, the emphasis needs to be put on training, right? If you need to do that to compete and do well, it's not time to compete yet. Wait till they get older, let them compete then. But if they're cutting weight as a youth wrestler, it's got to stop. But with that being said, as you get older into those high school, college, there is a competitive advantage of, I wouldn't say weight cutting, but being at your most optimal weight, right? That's what I like to tell people, is it isn't weight cutting, it's learning to get to the most optimal weight for you. And that is based on your lifestyle, what you're eating, how you're sleeping, how you're training, and all of those things. That is how you get to your optimal weight, and you're going to be as strong as anybody else at the weight class. The people that need to cut 20 pounds of weight to feel like they're strong at a weight class or competitive probably aren't doing the right things nutritionally, probably aren't doing the right things in the weight room to be as strong as they could be, conditioning wise, all of that. They're not doing the right things in other areas, and then they blame it on, oh, I need to cut weight to be successful. No, that is completely wrong. And I'll tell you exactly what I do, right? For me, finding my optimal weight, right? I might walk around 145, 150 if I'm not competing anytime soon. That's kind of just my natural walk around weight with a semi-decent diet, right? Not super dialed in, but a decent little diet that I'm not going and eating junk food every single day. And that's where I walk around. But as I'm getting ready, say I got the US Open this month, so I've been walking around closer to 140 to 144, and that's kind of right where I'll sit. I'll wake up most days right somewhere in between there. My weight class is 61 kilograms, 134 and a half. So it's within that striking distance, 6 to 8 pounds, where I'm one workout away from making weight pretty much at any time. But with that being said, I got a rigorous schedule as far as strength and conditioning goes, right? That's a huge piece of it. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be conditioned. I'm going to feel really, really good because I'm not cutting weight, but I'm also making sure that my strength and my energy and everything's there. And then on top of that, like I said, I really dial in now. A couple months out, I really dial in on the diet where it's all good foods going in my body, right? For me, right, if you got to figure out what diet's best for you, but for me, it's pretty much a carnivore diet with adding honey, fruits, fast carbs before workouts, right? I eat a lot of red meat, a ton of eggs. That's it, pretty much. And then around workouts, if I need some fruit, need some honey, need some things to get me through those workouts to have that little extra pop, I'll do that. But it's more important to live the lifestyle on a daily basis so that your body's in a position to drop maybe 6 pounds or 8 pounds of water weight. That's it. Like I said, anything more than that, you're not doing it right. If you're going to be a professional and do it right, 6 to 8. For bigger guys, obviously that's different, right? I'm a little guy. 6 to 8 for me is right where I want to be. Maybe some bigger weights can manage 10, I'd say 12 max, something like that. But like I said, it's all water weight. It's just one day I'll load up the water, kind of revving up to my competition. 24 hours before, boom, stop drinking water, flushes out of the system. I don't miss a single meal, period. I don't miss a single meal when I'm cutting weight, right? I eat every single day. I eat right before weigh-ins because I want that energy constantly flowing through my system. If I take it out, right before, or say the day before weigh-ins, that's the food that I'm competing with the next day. So I didn't eat anything. I don't have any of this food in my system to make me win the competition or feel at my best. So I never stopped. I never cut out any food. Portions might drop a little bit as I get to the last day, but I'm still eating every meal. And like I said, it's for me, it's a lot of eggs and red meat. So I'm honestly still eating probably 6 to 8 eggs a meal the day before. So it's a lot about getting lean and walking around at a body weight per body fat percentage that's ideal for you, and that's different for everybody. For me, I found my sweet spot is 9 to 10% body fat, where I feel really, really good. I'm close enough to weight. For some of you guys, it could be maybe a little less, a little more. I know guys that do better at 12 to 14% because that eliminates energy, and they feel a little better injury-wise. They don't have to worry about that. But then I know guys who get a little bit leaner, but you got to get your body in a position where it's just a water cut. It's not a huge weight cut of starvation, and that means you got to quit the junk food. You got to quit having this lifestyle where you're not sleeping, you're playing video games, right? If you are serious about being the best wrestler you can be, it's a full-time gig. And like I said, I don't cut weight. I never, like, if people ask, I don't cut weight. I manage where my body weight gets at naturally over a period of time, and then I do a little water cut. That's it. I never am hurting, dying at the weight class I'm at now. Yes, I've done in the past some stupid things where I wasn't eating good, my diet wasn't good, or I went to a weight that was unideal for me. Like when I went 57 kilograms, that was terrible. You know, I had to get down. I had, at the time when I started, 126 pounds of lean muscle, so I legitimately had to lose muscle to make the weight, and that's not ideal at all. So if you're serious about it too, I'd recommend jumping on getting a DEXA scan. You could probably get one for 60, 75 bucks, somewhere in there, and it's going to tell you what your body fat percentage, how much lean muscle you have, how much fat you have in each part of your body too. So it's a super in-depth breakdown that can really help you utilize where you should be competing at, right? If you hop on there and you have 132 pounds of lean muscle, you're probably a 141 pounder, right? You could pretty easily look at, this is the amount of lean muscle I have. But right, if you go in there and you're 132 pounds of lean muscle, but you weigh 170 and you're 20% body fat, that tells you you're not living the right lifestyle, and you probably need to shred out some get on a diet and shred off some of that fat before you're able to wrestle at that optimal weight. That's the biggest problem, is guys come into season at 20% body fat. Well, yeah, no crap. Now, if you're 20% body fat wrestling 125, obviously you're gonna be in some trouble, right? You got to be lean at your weight, and so that's a super important piece of it that people just want to ignore. It's like, oh, I'm not competitive if I'm not cutting this much weight. Well, no, you're not competitive because you're not lean at the weight class you're in. And so, you got options to get rid of the fat, or, well, you got to do that regardless. But then if you want to be a bigger weight class, you got to just put on some muscle and size, and that takes dedication and time. That doesn't happen. Instead, we're doing it the opposite way, where we're losing muscle and we just hope we can be bigger than somebody, and then we can put on weight good after weigh-ins and just be bigger to win matches. Like, no, focus on wrestling, focus on lifestyle, focus on getting your body to the optimal position so that you could be the best that you could possibly be. And so that's kind of my rant on it. Like 10 to 15 pounds, if you're doing that weekly, terrible idea. It's absolutely no benefit to that. Like I said, I know the way I do it. I know several other high-level athletes that do it very similar to me. Get your body fat percentage to where it needs to be to have a 6 to 8 pound weight cut, water cut, to get there. I'm always one, like, I can make weight tomorrow if I needed to. I'm one workout away most times, and that's ideal. Okay, so it's people that are defending the weight cut, and that scares me a little bit, telling kids that it's okay to lose 15, 20 pounds at times. And maybe it's the terminology of it. Maybe you mean to say, right, it's okay to lose weight by doing the right things, eating right over a period of time. I'm more talking about these drastic cuts, especially when your diet's super crappy. You're fueled on potato chips and Mountain Dew, and you're trying to suck out 15 pounds in a week. Like, that is so bad, especially high school kids that are growing. That's going to stunt your growth. There's nothing healthy that comes out of that. I've been there. I've done it the wrong way. And like I said, I think it starts with education on it. I just don't think we have enough coaches maybe that know the nutritional details to it. But I think it's just preaching. Like, be healthy, right? Do the right things. Don't eat crap when you're in season. Let's try to focus on simply whole foods. You eat whole foods, you're going to naturally, with the amount of working out and wrestling that you're doing, you're naturally going to get to where you should be, right? So focus on a whole foods. If you have if you need a starting point, whole foods, work out, right? If you got to get some fat off, do a couple extra, if it's jumping on a bike for 30 minutes after practice, or jumping, on your free time, get on the treadmill. Do a couple extra weightlifting sessions, stay after practice and do some shadow wrestling. All that stuff's going to burn a little bit of extra calories to hopefully get your body fat percentage down so you can be at that ideal weight. So ran over, but I'm going to do question and answers on all this. So if you guys do got questions, I'm going to do a Q&A on specifics of, if you guys got questions on what does it look like leading up to a match, or what do you eat after weigh-ins, or anything at all when it comes to being at the optimal weight, I would love to answer that for you guys. And I almost forgot, like, comment, subscribe, please. I appreciate all the support so far. The YouTube channel's been growing pretty quickly out here. Hopefully I can hit 3,000 subscribers by this week. So let's do it. Thank you guys.